Welcome to episode 109 of the Planet Wormwood podcast.
Definitely.
I am Wormwood Plays, joined with me as always by Mega Wormwood and the Black Worm. I don't know where I'm going.
No, you're absolutely right.
I am
the Black Wormwood.
Story before Worm and just bones. How about that?
Yeah, how are you possibly going to do bones?
Yeah.
Drywood?
And just bones.
Drywood 81? No.
Yeah. But this week we are joined by a very special guest who happens to be a pretty cool guy.
Some might say, some, a lot of don't.
So welcome, cool guy. Thank you for joining us.
Woo-hoo. I appreciate it for you guys having me, man. And first of all, as a community member, I love what you guys do. Every week, drive conversation. It's fantastic. So thank you for that.
Oh,
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Straight up.
Here, man.
That was totally worth the $5 that I paid him to say that.
It's totally good
Story
content,
under
man.
the table, dude. That means you don't talk about it.
Slide it on in.
Okay.
I actually know Cool Guy the most as, oh hey, look, it's Cool Guy in my game of Rumble right now or whatever.
I think I've only played you like 3 times.
It's only happened a couple times.
is that
He
why
plays
Cool
on
Guy
Xbox.
got into the Skype chat and he said, GG, sorry for the bags, big fan? First thing he
Right.
said.
GG
Cool
just
Guy.
played you.
Cool guy has ended the call.
Yes.
Good times.
Excellent. So there's plenty to talk about this week,
There's
isn't
so much to talk
Oh
about.
my.
I love hearing you say that. It gives me anxiety, the whole concept of talking about this patch, but I love when there is things to talk about.
Yeah, man.
Good
Yeah.
for shows.
But the question is, where do we begin? Fallout, you're really good at itemizing things.
Am I?
Stuff. You are.
Yes.
I don't get out of here.
What should we start nipping away at first to get the ball rolling?
Here's what I'm going to do. Curveball. Okay, there's
Okay.
plenty to talk about for the February patch. But real quick, I think it's important that we get it out there. So that right now, going on this past weekend and this coming Saturday, is the Destiny Championship Series, which is a new competitive PvP series done in association with Farcog, PvP Legends, and Planet Destiny. And it's a 4v4 sort of tournament ladder kind of thing. And if you want more information on that, you can go to www.pvplegends.com. You can register, and the next round of qualifiers is February 25th. It is really freaking fun. I was watching a whole bunch of matches this Saturday. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check out. I think Bones and I were watching Dr. Lupo play.
Mr. Loop.
Mr. Loop. And that was super fun.
Hey, I was watching that too. That's right. Yeah. I messaged at you,
Megan,
Fallout, so
you
what the hell is this?
You gotta step on my toe. during the plug, man.
In the
Right on
Twitch
toe.
chat, I said,
out.
OMG,
Right on the
Fallout
toe.
plays. I love your videos.
Oh, that's right, you did say that.
In the
You
fucking
did say
chat.
that.
Don't act like you didn't see me. All right.
And
Continue on with
don't
your
forget,
spiel.
there's
Yeah.
going to be updates and recaps on Crucible Radio every other week.
There you go.
If you want to, if you don't know what's going on, and you want to hear who's rising to the top and who is battling it out in the championships, and then Fallout, you yourself are doing a sort of a top 10, top 5 best plays of the week kind of thing going on.
I'm going to be doing a little commentary.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Pretty hype. So
I'm
again,
gonna have
just
to
like
watch
we
the
got
past
a real
podcasts.
league. It's amazing.
I've been making videos all weekend, so I'm going to have to watch the past podcasts.
there you go.
It's okay. Just as exciting.
But I've been doing
for
a
you.
bunch of 4s. It's super fun. I think with the recent February patch, despite it's like weird. The patch is affecting every playlist differently. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really different depending on what you play. But I've been doing 4s and they're a blast. So I'm really excited to watch how the championship series pans out. I think it's going to be awesome.
Nice.
Absolutely.
There you go.
That's a good maybe a place to jump off from, because I think one of the biggest things besides weapons, the change to special ammo, and I think that's what we're talking about when we say it affects different game modes. And I feel like that's, it's always been the case, or maybe elimination is so different that it feels very different. They have to do some slight tweaks there, but that's very noticeable this time around. That and Bungie has constantly mentioned, like, we want you to feel the same when you go anywhere in Destiny, whether you're doing a strike or a raid or the Crucible. We want things to feel and work the same. But then you get stuff where you realize, like, wow, this plays so differently.
You haven't killed Axis with your Wormwood yet? I don't understand.
Try working on that.
Wormwood
montage.
is the raid boss now.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's been very different across many game modes in the Crucible, and very, very interesting this weekend with Trials, I think.
Hasn't that been refreshing though? Having things so different,
Yes.
like it's been like. I mean, I
Absolutely.
couldn't get my head around it at the beginning. I'm like, wow, this is a very bold change.
On the one hand, I'll say the gameplay's been very different. On the other hand, the community and their feelings toward the gameplay seems to have just sort of shifted its voice toward other things.
Yeah, but this is a good
Nerf the
point.
No Land Beyond. Nerf it right now.
Radical change. Like it always, as we know. I mean, we know this. I wouldn't say better than anybody else, but we've had our big dose of it taking over this podcast. When everyone went their separate ways, they all went their separate ways at the same time. So it was a very radical change, and still we're feeling that unrest. Like in it's got smaller over the years, but like such a big change does cause, like a kicking of the sand and the dust and all that kind of stuff. But the dust eventually settles. That's the point.
It's
Strong
I just
opinions on it.
Yeah.
I just like that I see the same like memes, but now instead of like every slot being a Matador, it's just every slot's a Wormwood on someone's gear. It's like
Or No Land.
It depends on what you play. I actually brought up a bunch of numbers. I was like really excited, like going into this podcast because Story and I think we were talking last week about like, was I talking to you about like, will you let me know if the hand cannon meta changes or something like that? Or was I having this conversation with you?
I don't know.
remember.
You could have dreamed it. You might have.
I
actually.
might have.
dreamed
I have
about dreams
a
of these
spreadsheet here in front of me. I did
Good.
testing on damage drop off for hand cannons, which I wanted to talk about later. But I was actually looking at the usage numbers. You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah, man.
Of course you do.
Go. Bring it
Okay,
on.
love to.
so according to Trials Report, if you want to go to the Trials Report website, right meow, they are analyzing the weapon types across Trials for the weekend, and sidearms are a whopping 53% of all
Expected.
special weapon kills across the board. That is
Surprise.
unbelievable.
Yep.
53%. And you might think, wow, like again, Wormwood is literally taking over the meta. But then it depends on what game type you look at, because I also brought up Guardian.gg and I was looking at Skirmish, and King Matador sits atop his mighty throne with 9% of all special weapon kills, followed by the Wormwood at only 2.9.
Really?
So wrap your brain around that one, boys.
I
It also
wonder-
depends on whether or not you realize that the Iron Wreath is a better sidearm than the Wormwood.
Yes. Some of us
Shots
can't
fired.
get the Iron Wreath,
Who
so
has that? I
look,
got a great Iron Wreath, but like I think the Wormwood, because it's vendor, it's just a vendor thing.
Yeah.
You can buy it straight off, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And it's very good as a sidearm. It's a very good one.
So, CoolGuy,
What's up?
what have you noticed in terms of, let's talk about 30,000 foot view first. I wanted to mention that I've seen a lot of community members really split on the patch. I've seen people putting posts on Reddit. Triple Rec had a post on Reddit saying like, this is incredible. Really love the post. There's obviously a little room for improvement, but overall he really enjoyed it. M-Tash has been raving about how he really enjoyed the patch. And then there are other players who are so frustrated. They think that it missed the mark. They have Twitch clips of them deleting their Guardians, and they're like, I'm done.
Wow.
LOL.
Okay, cash me out. I'll be back in Destiny 2. And it's like, wow, I guess you guys really didn't like the changes.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's either you love it or you hate it, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
so
It's
divided
not like
and
meh.
strange.
It's all right. You know, I love it. I
You like
love
it
what
so
they've
far?
done with it. Yeah, I do. Of course, there's room for improvement, but I noticed like I play with my wife a lot, right? It depends on the player too, because one player will go from all right, Suros regime, we'll move to the 111 Last Word and Thorn. Okay, we'll move to the Red Death, and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, we're here, and player number 2 is like, hold on, they nerfed the hopscotch, right? So they're just having that transition switch. And different types of play styles. It's tough for a lot of people, you know. So I get that. But this particular one, I think the gunplay feels good, and Destiny's all about gunplay. So
Same here.
What was your setup before the patch, and what have you been playing the most since the patch? Has it changed at all?
I mostly go gunslinger, man. Honestly, I I probably went Night Stalker. I mean, a lot of people go Night Stalker. You can't go wrong with Night Stalker, right?
Very true.
So, but now I definitely go a lot of Gunslinger. And you're seeing a lot more there.
Definitely.
This neutral game's really good right now. So
Yeah, it got a really kind of indirect buff with all the changes, and you got the what is it? Chain of Woe that increases stability and stuff like that, and you can just
And the
rack
trance.
up precision
Chain of
kills with
Woe
your hand
is
cannons.
Trance, yeah.
Yeah, those
And-
two. Those two.
And another one
Real
that's really
nice.
interesting, man, is Scavenger right now, because every 60 seconds you get that, and you get the primary bricks. If you throw on a Monte Carlo, just have some fun. It's not like a world beater, but if you get that going,
I
that's a
love
fun
Monte Carlo
class,
right
man.
now.
You can't even count how many knives you throw. So
Yeah,
really fun.
I'll take that.
There you go.
And, you know, when it comes to the current meta, of course, this is the first week of the patch, so there's a lot of people out there using a lot of different things. And I've certainly noticed I don't see a lot of complaints about primary play. Most of the complaints I see are from people who are clutching certain Metador 64s and saying the game is ruined. And now, not to say that this patch is perfect. There are definitely some things that need to be fixed with it.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed the primary play. I've enjoyed the way that it's shaken up the Crucible. Just going in and seeing and being killed by a plethora of different items. I got killed by a hard light yesterday. I'm still using hard light.
That's something to put in the
Makes me
diary.
smile.
Yeah.
Dear diary, best day ever. Killed by hard light. You know?
February
And,
20th was
XOXO.
killed by hard light. Knocked me for 6.
Felt good. Made me smile. And
Took the
that's what it's
Boolean
all
Gemini
about, man.
out today. Had a good time. So
another
Forgotten Scout.
underrated gun.
Rated dance machines. Blade Dancer, man's fun. With the
I
agility
haven't-
buff. What is it? One way or another? One way?
Yeah,
I haven't played any trials yet, and I heard that's kind of
Really?
where the madness is going down. Yeah, I'm going to play
Yeah.
probably on Monday. I've watched plenty of people. I was watching my buddy Fun Police going in and playing, and it's just really quick. Like everyone is. I thought it was going to be slow and campy because it's Black Shield. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when they said it was Black Shield, I was like, oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Here we
Here, let's
go.
say
That's
that
what I
about
thought.
Trials before anything else about Trials. Black Shield is better with this meta than it was in the past.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know it's a very
Absolutely.
disliked
Yeah.
map. I don't mind it, but I was like, "Ooh, this is a different feel on this map." Like you said, it's the shorter rounds is such a good change in
Yeah.
my opinion, and it made just standing and staring down that middle hallway not something that can happen for
Yep.
a minute and a half in one go.
That's
And,
the number
much
one
more
best
moving around.
change to Grace Trials at the moment, the shorter round times. It
Yeah.
almost like it increases the pace straight off the bat. It makes the camping in spawn just that little bit less a viable strat. I mean, you'll still get people that don't move from their spawns with the old Scaries charging up the supers and stuff. But I don't know, like, how many cards we played? 2 cards early yesterday
Yeah, we
morning.
played 2 cards.
Yeah, and
We got through.
yeah, man. I mean,
fun.
All right.
I was really apprehensive about the whole Black Shield thing with the new meta. But I was like, wow, this is amazing. And like, I was really worried about, Scori's issue. But did we really encounter that? I mean, sure, people were using it, but was it like breaking or changing the game like it was or could potentially have done beforehand?
Well, we played outside a lot, right? So I
Yeah.
think we were the entire time of 2 cards, maybe 30 seconds, and that's just like transitioning, right?
Yeah.
And like you were saying earlier, I mean, the doors were a big issue
Yeah.
and previously, and now, like, because you would get a pick and there'd be an orb there, you go to try to secure the orb, and all of a sudden there he is coming right at you with the Juggernaut shield, and now you're just kind of waiting for to dodge grenades and possibly some snipers. It played a lot better.
Yeah.
I love the way it played. And pretty much when we did go outside and the other players went outside, depending on who we kind of pushed up a little bit, but most of them went to that outside special. So it was kind of because they want their special ammo. So it was really easy kind of pinching them in there, I thought. So it depended on the player.
Did you guys notice a lot of no land beyonding going on? Again, I haven't done any trials yet, but I did look at the numbers. There does seem to be a lot of no landing going
Yeah,
on.
I
But
saw
is it
that
a
in the
one in my
problem?
hand.
Like,
Yeah, I didn't notice it.
got him.
I didn't notice it too much. I played a few teams. I played 1 card last night, and it was actually like the easiest flawless that I've ever gotten, like playing with people, because I don't.
Mega.
I'm
Mega,
assuming
give me
I was
a
playing with
credit here, buddy.
look, no.
There it is,
I was
there it
playing
is.
with Axarian, who plays with the Von Police, who's like amazing. So it was like easy mode. to begin with. But like normally we ran into a lot of struggles weeks prior, but this week wasn't bad at all. I saw a few No Land Beyonds, a little bit more than I saw Icebreakers, but in general, mostly primary fights is what it seemed like, which is fun.
Excellent.
For me as a player. I enjoy it, but I will bring it back to how you said you were watching the Fun Police. I feel for people like him because it's less. There's less clips for him. There's less entertaining moments that he can make.
Out now.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, man. No one wants to see you three tapping people with the punch.
Exactly. That's like he's so upset because he's just forced to like, okay, I'm killing everybody, and it's easy for me right now, but it's not fun to watch because you don't have like the enemy scumbags that are camping in the back with their scories, and then he rushes in and chaperones them, and he feels like a hero. That's my only problem really right now with the patch is I can't be
number one
entertained.
problem is that Shake Fun Police can't feel like a goddamn hero. Well, I'm writing a strongly worded letter to Bungie as we speak.
See, he's
still
very
a hero.
I'm very pro. He is a hero. I'm very pro patch. I'm just saying I feel for the people who rely on being entertaining.
Sure.
With how they kill people.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. I remember we were sitting here last week, 2 nights or whatever it was before the patch went live, and I was a little nervous. Do you guys remember? I was like, it's cool that they're buffing a couple of guns, and I'm glad that, Suros Regime gets a little love because it doesn't get enough love. But I was worried because I didn't want autos, especially Suros, to take over the meta. I didn't want that to come back because I don't know. I didn't like that. But
Because why?
Because why? I don't know. I don't holding down the trigger meta. That's not the meta that I'm down with.
Yeah, me too.
So Tuesday comes. What you want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, sure.
Get some detail.
I just don't like auto rifles as a top tier weapon. And they had their time in the sun. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, hand cannons have had a really long time in the sun.
Yep.
Hand cannons are
Just
always in the
auto
sun.
rifles in general. I like seeing intense gunfights where like you're doing pop shots from behind the corner. I like rewarding players for being very accurate, and I think with a weapon like Suros, you don't have to be as accurate. You just have to kind of hold the trigger down and maintain the course.
You don't get into hot auto rifle Destiny cover mechanic gunfights all the time.
I don't know. I remember when the auto rifle meta was the meta, and I used the Vanquisher, the new Monarchy gun, and that was a really good freaking auto rifle. But when the meta finally changed off that, I was like, I kind of think it's better this way.
Yeah.
I like rewarding players for being very accurate rather than just kind of just hold it down, good to go, move on. I don't know. It's just one man's opinion.
I'm with you on that because like I've probably said this too many times, but like I think it's a good point that the auto rifle mechanic in Destiny is very straightforward. There is no like not too much science behind it. Burst firing and tap firing doesn't give you any kind of focusing the accuracy or anything like that with like it did with other games. Like say, I always use Battlefield 3 as an example. The auto rifle gameplay or assault rifle gameplay, and that had a very addictive mechanic where you had to burst and tap fire. We don't have anything like that with auto rifle gameplay in Destiny at all. It's literally just drop the hammer, hold down the button. If you can burst and tap fire, but you're probably putting yourself at a disadvantage to it. So it's quite a straightforward thing. And like pulse rifle gameplay, it's a burst, but again, it doesn't really matter how quickly you try to fire, or there's no, outside mechanics other than, okay, click, 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 pull, 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 that kind of thing.
So that was just my, you know what I mean? Like I remember the Vanquisher meta. I remember the Surge Regime meta. It was interesting. I'm glad that they had their time in the sun. I was kind of worried that would like blow away the usage numbers.
I suppose the question would be if they were brought back or if they were increased, because the argument at the moment or the bone of contention for a lot of auto rifle fans is that they haven't been buffed enough to be like as competitive as they'd like. However, I mean, I've used a bunch of different auto rifles over the last week and I've had a lot of fun. Yeah, you're going to get outshot by a good hand cannon user for sure. I think that's like a given. However, like in sixes, they do stand up quite well still. They're not the top choice for sure, but like, I don't know, would buffing them a slight little extra bit really make them a problem again? And I'm with you for like there. I wouldn't want them to be like the king of the hill again.
I'm glad that you can use them in Clash or whatever and not feel like a total deady. You know what I mean? That's I think is a good place.
Yeah.
Stories being modest, he had a wrecking ball today with a Genesis chain and trials, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
don't
let him fool you.
Oh, all right.
It's just
I like at least that they can hold their own now, because before, especially the high impact ones, you really didn't have it. It just didn't have the time to kill, and it's an extra bullet, but that matters, right?
Yeah.
In time to kill, so they're at least you can use them. They're usable. I enjoy
Fallout,
it.
the reason I ask you to justify that is because I think a lot of people are happy because the best guns and their favorite guns got a lot better, and now they can keep using that. And it's like, oh, great, the gun I was going to use every day of my life anyways, IS Luna or Palindrome, now is just more effective and more efficient. So I think it's a weird little thing to be like, yay, we did it, when really there's no difference in weapon diversity, especially at the top level of play. I'd love it if Destiny existed where I could watch the DCS every week and see really good players with auto rifles, scout rifles, pulse rifles, and hand cannons. But no, I'm still going to watch tournament level play using only hand cannons, and that's been true for months regardless of the last few major balance patches.
Totally understand your point, and I agree with your vision. If I were to tune in on the DCS and see like a variety of weapons being used, I'd be a happy guy. That'd be really cool. I would love it if there was like it's really, really hard to balance all primaries, because in my opinion, you need to balance them to all get within a point where they're like just frames within each other of time to kill. I mean, that would be awesome if I could just see total variety of weapons and everyone would do well. But I just didn't want to see like Suros regime, like 50% usage, everything else.
Oh yeah, of course not. We don't need anything to just go suddenly so far in one direction.
Okay.
Wouldn't you say the class abilities and the map sizes all have a big effect on which weapons we're going to choose or gravitate towards in terms of effectiveness?
Yeah.
Definitely.
My primary choice has definitely been impacted by that a lot lately. I think I would love to use a scout more, but you just put it away on certain maps. It's kind of silly.
Yeah.
Hand cannon is probably the one where I'm thinking it doesn't matter the map. I just equipped Palindrome and I'm not going to change it once I see, oh, incoming, we're going into whatever map. But I've definitely taken off the last word, and I've definitely put away scout rifles in response to certain maps and stuff like that. So
I've actually noticed that I will take off the hand cannon a little bit more often now because of the range fall off on it being worse. There are times now where I notice I'm not getting kills that I'm used to getting at range. Like I'll shoot somebody and be like, oh yeah, he's gonna die because I'm just used to it. Like how much damage he has, and then I'm like, and then he just has that sliver left. I'm like, fuck, because I'm just so used to it being one way. So I will occasionally now take off the hand cannon on long range stuff. So that's kind of nice.
I think they did a good job with effective range on them. I really do.
I'm not upset about it. Yeah.
No. Again, I was worried going in because I didn't know what the meta was going to be. And then I was like experimenting, going through guns. I was like, yeah, this gun feels okay. This gun feels okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a basic bitch. All right. I'm going to be white bread. I'm going to put on my vendor Palindrome because who cares? Why not? Mm-hmm. And then like within a game, I was like, this is amazing. Like hand cannons feel so good right now.
They feel
Day one of the patch, I load in with Fallout. He's got the Palindrome and a Matador on. It's just like nothing changed.
It's just another day in the life. And I mean, I put on a couple sidearms because it's fun and I've enjoyed mixing it up and just seeing what guns are enjoyable to use now, and you know what guns you can get away with not feeling like a deady when you put it on.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm still using Matador Pally. So
that's also my favorite comparison is to be able to just not change my loadout and play Monday and then play on Tuesday and see how the exact same setup feels. Because I don't really know if I get anything if I'm just like, well, I'm going to equip Suros Regime in a sidearm and switch to Stormcaller and do a totally different setup. Then I can't really tell what nuances have occurred. But yeah, I'm still using shotgun every once in a while.
What about you, TB? TB, what's your bread and butter now these days, eh?
So because I'm a filthy casual, I have to jump through a bunch of different weapons to test out what's working right now and what isn't. And while auto rifles have definitely been given, a nice buff there, the high impacts in particular are feeling pretty good right now. Mm-hmm. While the mid impact didn't really get touched, they're kind of in a better spot because pulse rifles are worse, which is kind of funny. The nerf to
the Flinch game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Flinch game is down. Those fast rate of fire pulses kind of have a bit of a harder time competing at mid range, which allows stuff like the Monte Carlo, the Red Spectre to really shine a little bit. They're still not quite as good as I would like them to be, but they're definitely in a better spot now. But really, ultimately, I have swapped back. I'm back on hand cannons because that's my favorite class. They're still the crispiest.
They're
they
very,
feel
very,
really
very
good.
good.
They're very good.
Fun.
And guess what? Hawk Moon slaps now. It slaps.
Hawk Moon is actually
and I'm
usable. Yeah.
So happy. I'm so happy the Hawk is back up in the sky. I've been having a lot of fun with that bad boy. The caca, man. Dropping those those bonus damage
If you mind me
shots.
asking, what do you guys think about Hawk Moon and Thorn? Those are the main two. And last word, we'll throw last word in there. The top three, right? The kings.
All right.
Sure.
A lot of people are wanting the buffs to Hawk Moon, give it a little bit more range, but I'm like, well,
It's
I
such
don't
a
think
so.
it's such a
Careful with it.
fine line that
Yeah.
you dance on, because if you give Hawkmoon that extra range to put it into like the competitive category with all the other hand cannons with their high range, then it's just no debate. It's just lights out. You take Hawkmoon every time, because why would I use
bonus
a
damage.
Palindrome when I can literally 2-tap you with magic bullets? Why would I not do that?
An enormous mag with 3 possible lucky bullets.
Yeah.
I agree, Fallout. That's a good trade-off. Is like, all right, if you want to use a lot of luck in the chamber, you got to get just a little closer, so it's kind of a risk reward. Thorn, I think, will always be that hated thing, and I think they're gonna keep it in check forever until until it's gone, until they say you don't get to use any of these weapons anymore. But I do appreciate that Thorn connects on that first shot, because Thorn has always been tough for me to use, even back in the day. Thorn was just like a weird gun to aim for me, and the recoil direction or whatever. But I appreciate Thorn getting an accuracy buff as well, because at least I can land a follow-up shot and actually use it. But yeah, you make either of those guns any better, and suddenly we're back into like
that's my
dangerous territory, man.
yeah.
They have their place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I personally don't think Hawkmoon needs any more range, because like you said, if it gets any more range, if it starts competing with the 62 range hand cannons like the Palindrome, the Iasaluna, suddenly it's better than all of them. It's going to be the best hand cannon in the game in that situation. I think it could probably use a little bit of a stability buff, maybe just a small one to help, center their sights a little bit more on their shots.
For sure.
But here's the part where I become the final villain of this podcast. Once again,
Oh boy.
Thorn needs its range back. The range nerf it got a few patches ago.
Send it
Bring it back. Send it. Give me those enhanced headshot boxes. Give me my range back. I will say that for Thorn.
You know what, dude? I'm
Come
with
at
you.
me, Chad.
We're going down the fire together, man. Let's do it.
I could vote for that.
Got you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because Thorn, that initial accuracy buff is great because it allows that first shot to connect a lot more often. But Thorn still feels like an underpowered hand cannon to me right now. It's weird because Thorn always performed differently than other hand cannons. It's like base range and the way its damage fall off worked. Thorn performed like a hand cannon with rangefinder, which is why even after hand cannons got nerfed in Taken King, Thorn still felt very good for a while. You couldn't get your 2-taps anymore, but range-wise, it could still compete really, really well.
Yeah.
And I think it got a 25% damage reduction a few patches ago. Mm-hmm. And I think they could probably scale that back a little bit. Maybe not the entire 25%, but a little bit. Definitely a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call,
yeah.
Link. Good call, Link. I'm right there with you,
good
buddy.
thoughts.
Good call.
Like I
buddy.
said, come at me. I said it. Buff Thorn.
And then you're seeing the Icebreakers and a couple of Invectives every now and then. And I've always been on the side, well, you got to make specials good. I like that the Icebreaker's pretty strong, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why. Because if it's strong, it takes a Hawkmoon out of their hands, it takes an exotic. But that's why I asked the question about the 3 hand cannons, because say they were good. I mean, that would take an Icebreaker out of somebody's hands. That would take an Invective. I don't think that we're there yet. I mean, it's kind of a honeymoon phase with the meta, right? But that's where I was going with that.
I think last word really kind of hurts in this meta, because you're going to have more primary versus primary engagements, and you don't have a lot of time to get special, or you've spent less time with special. It just means that almost everything outranges it, and you really have to play close, which can be a tough thing to do. I mean, if there's a hyper aggressive player who's just all about blinking forward on top of someone and hip firing that, then yeah, you can make it work. Or if you're just playing on Thieves' Den, it's probably fine. But I've noticed that Last Word is tough. There's a lot of scenarios where I'm just getting outranged by other primaries, and especially in 6v6, I can try to get closer and I can slowly work my way up and be strategic in my positioning. But there's a good chance that someone's shooting at me from some other angle too. So it hurts
or
a little bit.
wormlets in your face.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
that.
I was gonna say that the Last Word is definitely probably at a disadvantage against other primary hand cannons, but it's like the only gun against a sidearm that I feel like I die a lot too close up. Like it's the only one that I worry about if someone has that on their primary and I have a sidearm in
and
the
I would almost love it if it worked a little better. I've always thought like it's a good. I want it to be a thing where if someone is running right at you with a shotgun and you're just holding down the trigger, that by the time they get close, they're dead. And I think it would be okay if it just absolutely destroyed. It's the same thing I want from auto rifles, really, as like a low skill defensive move to take something and say like, I'm not trying to aggressively push you, but if you come at me, I at least have something to defend myself and just be like, just shoot them as they charge. But it's still a little all over the place.
Well, this might be kind of unpopular, but I found all the exotic hand cannons, like, the top three, Last Word, Thorn, and Hawkmoon, nowhere near as reliable or as crispy as the legendaries. The Pally and the Luna. Like
because they aren't.
Like I wanted to main Hawkmoon for a while, but every time I take it out, I find that it lets me down. Whereas the Luna and the Pally won't. So I will stick to those, and it's a shame. I find it's a shame, but I know there must be difficult things to try and get up there with everything else. But for me, still those exotic hand cannons are still fun guns. They're not reliable enough for me to start mining them again, but. I don't know.
I think that's actually perfect for them in some ways, though, because like an exotic doesn't need to be the best thing, but they play differently at least, and they're like they're usable and they're fun to use because they play differently, but they're not the main thing you use. Like it just makes sense to me in some ways for an exotic gun to be, even though they used to be the best things ever in the world, and they're not now. But
I don't mind with a legendary being higher up than an exotic. I know a lot of people are like, well, the exotic is exotic. Like, it should be, like, top of the food chain. But, like, I don't know. I don't really care that much.
Like,
I mean...
It's like, should Zalo be the best primary to use?
Yeah,
like,
no.
I
think it would be really interesting if we got more variety in legendary weapons in general. Like, if there were more perks that would do more for how you use the gun. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because then you could go into a game... And it's like, okay, well, the exotics are fun and we like them, but like we're in a competitive game right now. We got these legendary hand cannons, but which perks do we want to use? Right now, there's like a very limited pool of like, I want that one or that one. Otherwise, the gun is literally trash. Like, I just wish there were like a whole bunch. And maybe on exotics too, that would be cool if there were like different ways that you could. I mean, we have that on some exotics right now, like Suros Regime. You can do the focused fire. You can do spinning up. I think we need more things like that in the game.
I haven't used Kvostov. I mean, have you guys used it?
I haven't got around to that, but I have a friend, that's
Yeah.
been telling me, you should pick this thing up, man. If you think Suros is good again, try this.
That was actually my joke theory, was that Kvostov was going to be really good after the patch. I have not tried it because I just assumed it wouldn't be. But I'm
right next to Fabian's strategy, right?
Yeah, man.
Maybe it is, but literally no one has touched the gun. Everyone's
what I'm
using
saying.
the Wormwood. Mega is going to discover the new meta tonight.
I know the secret meta. I don't share with you guys. All right.
What a bastard.
I was kind of hoping, not strongly, which is why I say kind of, but I was wondering if the other archetypes of hand cannons would be usable at all. The problem is they often don't hit max range, which is really the key in all these engagements. But I'd love to see, like, what if I could max out the range on that Trials hand cannon? And it requires me to land more shots, but we have a similar time to kill or something like that. But it's stick with what you've been using. It's still the best choice.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to talk about numbers on hand cannons? I totally forgot. I have numbers.
Go on then.
Give us the
Go on then.
numbers.
I am excited for the numbers because I am a fucking loser. I swear to God, I was talking to Story about this. Was I not talking to Story
About how
Story
you're a
I think
fucking
you were.
loser?
about how I'm a loser? No, I was talking
Very-
to
very
Mega
likely.
about how I'm a fucking loser.
Yeah.
I was talking
oh,
to
yeah.
Story.
That's every
about
day when I call him.
Calls me in the morning. It's like 7 a.m. Good morning,
Loser.
Wake up,
loser.
you fucking loser.
Loser.
Click. This kid. Anyway, okay. If I didn't talk to Story about it, I must have talked to somebody about it, about different variations on your eyes, Luna, or your palindrome. And is there anything else that's viable other than rifled barrel, which we've been using for a long time? And I've been playing 4s with a couple of really solid people. I'm actually a sub on Ramblin' and Ninja with Noel's Destiny Championship Series team. So we've been doing a lot of scrims together.
I saw you. I saw you last night.
You see me in there? All
I was
right.
like, look at this guy playing with these Hollywood big shots.
Those
over
games
there.
are fucking white hot. I'm super happy that they asked me to be on the team. And we were in the game and we were talking about the hand cannons, and Ninja is hitting me with what I'm calling bro science. This is what I like. It's basically when you're like, oh, this feels really good. It's totally viable. And I'm like, well, did you like test it? It's like, well, no, it just feels good. That's bro science.
Dude,
So-
you got to do this. It'll make your biceps
Yeah.
like incredibly shredded. It's just like, no, I'm not gonna throw that weight
Yeah.
against the wall in the
There
gym
you
a
go.
bunch of times. You made
Maybe
up
your
that
biceps would be
exercise.
a little bit bigger if you did. Oh, that's all right.
2%. Yeah. So we're talking bro science about braced frame on your hand cannon, which is it gives you more stability. So I was like, that's really interesting. They were saying that on smaller maps. So think of like Cauldron, like a map that's really not very large. The majority of your PvP engagements, they're going to be like medium to kind of close range. You know what I mean? So can you get away with using something other than rifled barrel? So here are the numbers that I have. I had an IS Luna, and we have first non-rangefinder. So these are basic bitch IS Luna, no rangefinder. If you use rifled barrel, the damage drop-off point is 27.5 meters, give or take a few inches, 27.5. And if you use braced frame, 24.5 meters. So it's only a 3 meter drop.
Yep.
Drip.
Three
Raindrop.
meter drip drop
Drop top.
in drop top.
God damn it.
Flip flop.
in damage drop off. I knew that was
Just sitting here like,
in damage
no.
drop off. And then if you have rangefinder on that same weapon, rifled barrel, rangefinder IS Luna, damage drop off point, maximum range 30 meters. And if you have braced frame, 27 meters, which is basically tied. Yeah, it's tied with a rifled barrel non-rangefinder IS Luna. So if you have rangefinder and braced frame,
Yep.
and you really want to like spam the hand cannon and have more stability control, you can get away with it if you have braced frame rangefinder and you're playing on a medium to small map.
Yep.
Boom.
Guy that I play with very regularly. He's probably
A
going
round
to be
of applause
listening.
for that.
Yeah. He's been using rangefinder brace frame for months and months and months, and has sworn that that has always been the best choice for him on smaller
Bro
maps.
science.
You
Yeah.
know, like on smaller maps. And unfortunately, I've never had a brace frame rangefinder hand cannon to test. I've had a brace frame underdog or something like that, Luna, that was kind of interesting. But I think
Gotcha.
the reason why it gets the damage drop off, yeah, for sure. But like, it's so much more stable. You can get lots more shots downwind quicker. So I think it's really interesting to see this surfacing now. I saw Ramblin's tweet yesterday, and I saw Ninja's tweet response to that. That this is, you should try this out. This is really good, particularly
give it a
in
whirl.
the sweats and the very competitive scene. Because like I always thought, surely something like that would be super effective in close quarter maps anyway, because you can get more shots out quicker. You know, and now that the accuracy's been changed, you know.
I mean, it's just you get more control over the kick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes when you're engaged in those really intense firefights, and if you miss one shot
yeah.
with the hand cannon, you're in trouble. Because
Yeah.
like if your enemy is perfect, then you're
And
dead.
the difference in kick is massive with brace frame. Like if you get
Sure,
two
yeah.
pieces, two clips, rifle barrel, reinforced barrel, and then stick it up against a brace frame, it's such a massive reduction in like the muzzle kicking up to the air. So if you've got like a vault full of Lunas that you've been keeping and you got brace frame, if you got brace frame
Comb through.
rangefinder, you
There
probably
you go.
stumbled across a little nugget of love. You know.
Definitely comb through your vault.
Yeah, man.
You may
It's
you
really
may have
interesting.
stashed a hand cannon away. Now's
Yeah.
the time. Bring it out.
So basically, your testing found that rangefinder has basically the same effect as rifle barrel when it comes to damage fall off on those smaller maps.
It kicks it up like 3 meters or something
3
like
meters.
that. Basically
That's
3 meters.
super interesting.
And yeah, braced frame rangefinder is almost exactly the same, almost like a hair away from rifled barrel non-rangefinder.
That's good enough for me.
You know what the best,
People listening to this on iTunes are going to be like, what the fuck was that?
was that?
What are
the
they
best
laughing
part
at?
is I wrote that on the back of a D&D character sheet that I pulled out. It was the only piece of
For
hypocrite
the guys,
bastard.
for the guys listening, Mega just wrote on a paper, what a fucking nerd, on a piece of paper and held it up to his webcam. There you go.
Oh, Mega.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Sorry,
good.
My
love you.
love for you runs so deep, my brother.
Samesies.
Let's make it really uncomfortable on the podcast right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Guys, start. All right, enough of this. Talk about more gun
Talk
stuff.
about other
I'm dumb
nerdy-
at. Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the grasp and the waltz, the clever dragon fire rate?
To be perfectly honest, haven't used it since the patch.
No.
I've not even touched
I
it.
put one on to see if I
guy.
could tell the difference right when the patch happened, like in the fire rate. I could tell, but I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't actually used one to try to really kill anybody, so I can't say.
All I can say is during our trials cards, CoolGuy, all I could hear from you towards like the latter end of both cards was, "Oh my god, this waltz! You gotta try this waltz!"
So I only like the
Waltz
sure
is
shot,
great.
the sure shot on those types of weapons, man. As far as reticles go, but I hadn't used it really. I got it like it's a counterbalance third eye. That's kind of how it was. And dude, I think it's one of the only ones that could do. I think Cammy was telling me it's either quick draw or single point sling. It's the only one that can have that. So I'm kind of looking for that role, but you don't get I don't think you get the magazine nerf, right?
Nope.
No, it's
still
that
like
was
in the
only
30.
for
Yeah, they
grasp and
were.
clever dragon. It's almost like they forgot
It felt
about it.
good.
Like, why?
I think it felt really good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
More-
it can't get like as high of stability, right, as the other
I
ones.
think its
so
base stats
That
are a
might be
little bit
true.
lower.
That might be
yeah,
true.
so
Yeah.
maybe
Clever dragon and grasp
nerf
and
its
belong.
magazine. Yeah.
I actually
More
used my
reason to
Clever
go with
Dragon
Future
for a
War Cult.
game, and
Yep.
it seemed okay. In terms of the magazine change, I have Outlaw on mine, so I use Perfect Balance and High Cal, and it's like, okay, that works because luckily I get a kill and I can reload fast. If not, I gotta
Yeah.
fall back a little bit. I think the change to high caliber rounds is noticeable and also very good. Definitely not experiencing that feeling of just like blah, 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 like when someone starts shooting you and you can't aim at anything. And
Wait, what's it like again?
it's like blah, 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 blah. That's
Okay.
that's just
Let me write
like,
this down.
that's my impression of high caliber
That's
rounds.
his bro science
exact sound.
version
That's
of
the bro
it.
science.
That's the bro
right there.
science.
Love it.
What's up, everybody? This is Dry Bones. Welcome to another YouTube video where I'm going to talk about all the testing I've done with high caliber rounds. So one time in a game, someone shot me and I was like, ow, ow. And then the other time, someone shot me and I was like, blah, 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 blah. That gun
Forget
was
to
OP.
thunder strike that sub button.
Thunder strike it.
Speaking of, glad that didn't disappear completely because I really love the Stormcaller melee and I'm very happy it wasn't gone forever.
I had some friends singing "The End Is Nigh" who play Stormcallers like they were done
is
forever, and I was like, "It's not going to be that bad, guys. You're still
Nope, Storm is real good.
yeah."
Storm is
Still
real good,
good.
right now.
You can
good.
you can definitely feel the difference in the melee range. Like
You can.
you're not cross mapping
Well, I don't.
people with
He
your
still
storm
sometimes gets
touch.
that animation where like he jumps like 4 meters and then does the thunder strike. I don't know if you guys have
still
seen
good.
that.
Yeah.
That's a
The
thing.
Halo
little auto
lunge.
lock
Yeah,
on.
the
It's gone from downtown to like across the block. Still really good. Still feeling it.
still good though.
One of my friends said though is
and-
like the punch is only going to be barely better than like a Titan punch now. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What Titan is he playing?
I know, right? All right, Jesus.
Barely
are you talking
better
About are you talking about when
than
they
my
are
Titan
Sunbreaker
punch.
and they have the hammer punch? Like, is that what you mean? I can't remember what it's called. I don't play Sunbreaker.
Sun charge.
Sun charge.
Sun Charge. There you go. Thanks, guys.
There you go.
I got you, fam.
Oy.
Dude, I'm having
Well,
like
yeah, at the
nightmares
end of the
from
world,
Sun
man.
Charge.
Yeah.
We're talking about that. Sun Charge is
It's
so
gonna
good
be-
right now.
It's gonna be worse. It's gonna be better or worse
it's
depending
only
on what
gonna
you
get
play.
worse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Recovering.
subclass stuff and
Yeah.
we'll the intended changes versus the unintended changes. CoolGuy, what were your
Subclass
first
stuff.
impressions of the very minimal but noticeable
I'll bring it up, Blade
subclass
Dancer.
changes.
There we
That's the
go.
one. Yeah,
I'll
that's
bring
what
it
I
up.
was,
That Band-Aid
I was
off.
getting at.
So, all right. Coming out of Blink, we got the HUD, right? So you took away the ready up time. You kind of took away. I feel you have to give at least one of those back because
Yes.
they pretty much made it now that Blink is going to be just a movement ability. And I think what they wanted to do with taking away the HUD is just to stop that rush. Same thing with the Jug. Like I don't think that they're really promoting you just jumping at somebody. I mean, you can kind of do it with the Warlock with the Fluffle, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit too much. I don't know about you guys.
Too much.
Or too long for the Blade Dancer.
I think that the Blade Dancer nerf is not enough, my friend. That
Oh, okay.
I think
We'll be
I like where this is going.
I think
Dick
Blade
memes.
Dancer melee should actually heal the person that you melee.
Yes. That's what Hungering Blade should
call
do.
it the Mercy Blade.
It already
Swipe and you're like,
does.
"Oh,
Mercy
get
Blade."
healed.
It's a support class now. You just go to your teammates and start
Exactly.
Slapping
up
them.
with it.
That would
Does
actually,
anybody watch Futurama?
yes.
Anybody? Okay, there's an episode where
that?
they,
Never
they
heard of that
find
show.
okay.
What is this?
There's
What's
an
this
episode
indie
where
show that
they
you're
find
thinking about?
they find like a cloud, which is basically it has like the powers of God, and it's been watching episodes of Star Trek. It's like a huge Star Trek fan, and it brings the cast into the world, and they like want to reenact the show together. And he kills a red shirt. It's like the running joke in Star Trek that the red shirts get owned always. And so there's this body who's laying down there, and every time they have an argument with like this god cloud or whatever, he's like, "You doubt my power." And then he like zaps the dead body with like lightning over and over. And then that's what I feel that like Bungie is doing to Blink. Like, why are you zapping this poor dead red shirt on the ground? So I feel like I have so few friends who use Blink in PvP. It like
Recovery is a big one. Recovery.
yeah, it's
just that alone.
nobody- I don't know. It's just you guys feel kind of the same, maybe a little bit in the ballpark. I don't know.
think I think I have one friend who uses it, and they just use it so they can bitch about Bungie like nerfing it. Honestly,
It's a viable
They seem-
use for it.
They seem to intentionally use things that they know are bad all the time. Like
That's actually
Oh, I've never heard anyone do that.
yeah.
cough cough.
I've started maining
Megan-
Blade again. Like, I'm
Really?
I'm not going to say that I agree with these changes or I think that they have benefited or have ruined the subclass. I think that they were unnecessary. But I'm maining Blade again now simply because I love the subclass. I didn't play it much in year one. In fact, I didn't really have a hunter until the beginning of year two. I stuck with
You missed out.
I stuck with my Warlock and Titan for the first time. I should have gone with it, but I'm still loving the neutral game. Blade still has a really effective neutral game. It's just I think the perks surrounding the super hungering Blade, those are the things that need work on it. Like I don't know how many people have found this with Blade at the moment that in the super sometimes it seems to be pushing folks away when you swipe. Like I don't recall that happening as much before this patch. But yeah, like I've been maining it and enjoying it still. I agree with Bones. I don't think these changes to Hungering Blade are as bad as we thought that they would be. But I still don't think they were necessary. I don't think it's the problem that Bungie thought that it would be. I understand the reason behind that. They were like, okay, no shotguns. We need to do something about this. But it was like there are other supers that are way more stronger than that anyway. And you could literally have left Blade and that the Hungering Blade perk alone, and there literally wouldn't have been an epidemic or a rise or an issue. I don't think anyone would have complained.
Blink is so baffling to me.
Somebody
It's the
will
most
always
baffling change.
complain.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah.
yes. Yeah. No,
So
I
many
agree with
players.
that.
It's got,
Yeah, but I at least they're like the nerf to Hungering Blade. At least they're kind of lessening the nerf to it according to the most recent like notes. Like it's gonna get 58% more health back than it gives now. So that's something, I guess.
We should fill in the people
Sorry.
listening at home.
There's
if
so
they
much
don't
to
know
talk about. I
what
don't even
the-
know how
I
to do a
know.
cohesive.
If they don't know what the F we're talking
transition between it all.
about.
Yeah.
So Bungie had made a nerf to Hungering Blade, which is a perk where you're in your Blade Dancer super and you have low health. You cut somebody, you get the kill, and then boom, your health starts regenning right away. They were going to change that when you cut somebody, get the kill, you get a chunk of health back right away. It doesn't start regenning right away, but you get a nice fat chunk. And when they put that change into play, it accidentally affected like a dozen other health regenerating perks in the game. Like they were all
Basically all of
tied together. And this was a big boo-boo apparently. So
I don't know how you can make that kind of mistake at a certain level, but it's fine. I'm not gonna. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, but it's the type of stuff I always screwed up in programming classes. But I just assume that they're better than me. But it's fine. I get it.
like I mean,
The reason you're not programming is because you screwed
exactly. Yes, I do things like that. So I'm like, oh, this isn't for me.
it up. Yeah.
like I love Bungie to death. I think they did a great job so far with a lot of the things in the patch. Primaries feel amazing, but you know. Got to be fair. Got to throw them just a little bit of shade because they did say on the stream they're like we play tested the crap out of this.
Yes.
And I'm like,
that
kind of
seems like
figured
something you might have noticed in
that when I
play
meleeed somebody with lifesteal, I was like, wait, what just happened? Like my lifesteal didn't steal the way it's supposed to. Yeah. So like, okay, so Cosmo tweeted out that there's like this thing going on the forums. They're like, hey, we're making some changes to how health regen works depending on what the perk is.
Yep.
So for each of these elements, they're going to keep the change, meaning that when you get the kill, you're going to get an instant chunk back instead of the instant regeneration process. But they're going to buff the amount of health that you get by 58%, which is pretty sexy.
Significant. Yeah, significant.
And that applies to Hungering Blade, Red Death, Lifesteal, Transfusion, and Cauterize. And then
They're also removing the cooldown from Cauterize.
Yes.
which is pretty. I'm gonna have like nightmares about that. And then for the other perks, they are reverting the change, aka the mistake that was made to how health regenerates, and that applies to Osiris Regime, No Backup Plans, Ward of Dawn, Apotheosis Veil, and Embrace the Void. So there you go.
Which is good because in the case of the Embrace the Void change, that kind of broke the Voidwalker class.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know, that entire class was based around instantly getting your health back from every grenade and ability kill that you do. So having the Hungering Blade change apply to that, I've got a buddy of mine who is just a dedicated Voidwalker main. He was in tears basically once this change went into effect. It's like I'm killing things and I'm not getting my health back, and now I'm dead. Rip. So, you know, it's good that they're dialing this back for some of the abilities. Kind of interesting that they're taking away the cooldown for Cauterize. Open up that fresh wound. I guess my boy Bones. But I guess the reasoning behind that is because you know, Hungering Blade doesn't have a cooldown, so why should Cauterize? And now since you're not immediately getting all of your health back, maybe it won't be as nightmarish as it was before December 2015. Because that was an interesting time.
Yeah.
Sunbreaker is like one of my favorite subclasses.
Yeah.
I think that could be an overall buff to the class, the cooldown on Cauterize. Yeah. I think if you get enough of a chunk, you're fine. One of the amazing moves on Sunbreaker is with Twilight Garrison, stick, dodge immediately, get your health back once it explodes, and you can do that and be aggressive with the grenades and really just dance around and things like that. And then so that neutral game is fine. I mean, if there's two people shooting at you, you probably were gonna die anyways. Maybe it gave you a little chance to survive. But what's gonna happen is that super will be once again able to move forward constantly as long as the hammers are landing or the sun charge is landing. Because right now, there's definitely moments where you do have to stop and kind of consider your push or maybe delay it so you're going to get the next Cauterize. Because if you're just running forward, you won't get your health back fast enough. With less special on the board, those roamers are very strong. So I'm
do some damage.
Yeah, I think overall that's going to be a buff.
Are going to be good. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, Sunbreakers are like they're top tier for sweating. It's crazy. Or I mean, just in general, Sunbreakers are insane. Like I was saying this earlier to a friend of mine. People joke all the time. They're like, "Oh, Storm Trance is OP. Storm is like the best super in the game." No, it's
until they get sun charged.
Thank you, CoolGuy.
Smacked into the sky.
Because okay, so the Storm Trance can teleport around. Yay. The Sunbreaker can do a 10-meter knee dash, which at the same time can kill people in one hit, especially out of your super.
Yeah.
and they can throw hammers which kill one hit across the map. They get the health back from getting the kills with hammers. They can Titan skate. Like it's disturbing. If you're in the market for a new subclass right now,
Fallout's going to sell
the
you one.
Sunbreaker. I'm going to sell you one right here, buddy. Pick up the hammers. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Beautiful. I'm gonna edit that GIF of Matt Damon from Saving Private Ryan, where it's not even Matt
He's
Damon.
crying.
Yeah. He's crying. I'm just gonna have hammers flying in the background.
Flying over him.
I love it.
That's me whenever I hear the hammer ting in Crucible every time.
The gong.
You're my hammer.
Yes.
Yeah, you better run.
If I had a hammer.
Nerds.
Have we got anything else on subclasses that needs a good chin wagging about? Or is it time
Please
to
help
move?
Sunsingers. Please.
Well, I don't know. Some
Sunsingers,
singers a huge resurgence in that because sticky grenades. Bones made this point earlier on in the chat. Sticky grenades are on the up, and
Yeah, they are.
I've seen a lot of very respectable sweat players say very similar things about sticky grenades, and that is that it's all to do with proximity. Because before you would have plenty more shotgun ammo, you could in close quarters you'd have an instant shutdown to anyone getting close to you, whereas now that has become reduced. So sticky grenades are on the up. I've seen a lot more of them.
And also think about trials. One of the biggest things in trials is if the enemy team gets a revive, you wanted to have a way to guaranteed put them down immediately. That's why you had revive sniping, you know what I mean? Or if you're a crazy person like me, revive shotgunning, and you just jump over their head and matador from a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
Because I worship the devil. But now that there's less special ammo in trials, you need to resort. I mean, you can't like revive palindrome somebody. Like it's not going to work like that. So if you have a fusion grenade,
Yep.
well, there's your answer. Like they pop up, just put it right on them with the magnetism. You're not going to miss. They can't move.
Yep, you
And
can't move.
just
That happened
put
to
'em
me
down.
with a Sunbreaker Titan in our first card yesterday morning, last night, within the last 12 hours. Died.
It's Tuesday. It's all just blurred
Yeah,
together.
man, my hands are like that at the moment. But yeah, died, got instant res, couldn't even move. Fusion grenaded. It was like so effective, to
The
put
best
someone
part
down.
of that is I was like, all right, Story, I got your res. And I got him up. He got stuck and I tried to get away and it killed both of us.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's one way to do it because
Yeah.
they were hard scoping him. I was trying to, slide him. And I was like, well, that's one way to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Super effective stuff, man.
Can we really
So-
quickly, before we dive into questions, sorry, cool guy, were you going to say something?
Yeah, just one more thing. So now that we've kind of switched, you guys played Trials a little bit. How do you feel about the res shields?
This is a really good question because it.
Yeah.
I think
haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
to be critical. I mean, just with the state of special ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
mean, talk about it.
what do you think about it? Do you think they should be reduced
Well-
because there's less special on the field?
Well, usually, so like we would get a pick, right? And we'd be looking at, normally, I mean, I had an Icebreaker, of course. I was that guy, all right? I was that guy. But usually we had something on it, right? But you need a lot more teamwork because you can shred them if you team shot them. I think that it adds another element to it, if that makes sense. Before it was just kind of just go in there with our shotgun and see what we can do. But I don't know. I just wanted to see what you guys thought.
What would be the immediate problems if res shields were removed for like trials, threes, that kind of thing? What would be like the immediate issue springing to mind?
Probably that if you were one man down, you would have extremely little hope of winning the round. Because at least if you go for the revive now, there's like the saving grace of like, okay, they're probably they know that we're gonna get the revive.
Yeah.
They're not stupid, you know what I mean? They're gonna push the advantage, and the only saving grace you have is the revive shield. It's like, because if you were to, I wouldn't risk. I mean, I barely want to stick my neck out for Mega right now when we play trials together. You're telling me that there's going to be no revive shield? I'm going to leave that bearded dude on the ground.
It's a detriment, all right?
I thought it was worth talking about. I heard a lot of people talking about it. So
Well, it's definitely interesting because, you want it to be a risk reward. Like, is it worth it to revive? Is it worth it to not? And I think if you removed them entirely, then I'm like Fallout just said, I'm never going to go for it because it doesn't give
Not
me
worth
any
the risk.
advantage. And it's going to only probably charge the other teams. But at the same time, Maybe the strength of them could be reevaluated. I think when they changed the revive shields the last time to make all snipers effective was a really good move. So I wouldn't mind if, let's say, for example, they're lower strength. So there's that 1 or 2 invincibility frames, and then there's lower strength shields. That means if you revive someone when there's clearly a sniper staring at your friend, or there's a guy with a shotgun right next to you, that's your mistake, and that special ammo is gonna punish that. If it's primaries, maybe you can play that risk and say like, well, get up and get out of the way, or I need to use just a tiny bit of shield to escape. But that way, a team who's 2 or 3 guys who just have auto rifles or just have primaries aren't going like, all right, shoot at them. Like, that's not going to do anything. But like, all right, they're up and they ran away. I think you should still be able to punish a res if you're in the position to do so. But again, if you took those away completely, it'd be like,
no point.
Yeah,
It's a very fine line.
I agree.
Discussing the bad
one-man
points
show.
about taking them away, and then it's like, okay, what if they were either the timer for having the shield was reduced, or as Bone said, the strength was reduced a little. I think that those could be really, decent changes that would add that element of risk and, put a bit more tactic in there.
What if there was like a team limit, meaning that like for your team, the first 1 or 2 team revives, no matter who it is on the team, your teammate goes down, you pick them up. The first 1 or 2, you get the res shield. But then the more it happens, maybe we just say 1, you get a res shield. But then after that, it goes away.
That's a good
that
point.
way, like you're kind of punished, quote unquote, for
dying.
continually dying. And it's like, you get a shield, but you only get 1, so spend it wisely. Don't make the same mistake again. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but I like that.
No, that's a good
discussion.
as well. Yeah.
Some way to balance them out because, I agree. I think removing them entirely would not be the best way to balance that out because you just giving people no incentive to revive their friends. It's like if someone's down, okay, well, this is now a 2v3.
Yeah.
And then somebody else is down, okay, well, this is now a guaranteed 1v3, and there's nothing I can do. So,
See you in 2
I don't
minutes,
think we're
Mega.
moving them entirely. Yeah, basically.
Harsh.
Out.
Harsh.
Rip.
Leave
I
him.
love you, buddy.
It's fine. It's fine. What is
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't even.
It's fine.
I don't even care.
I do think they're in a very fragile place right now.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they've looked into that at all, but it's right where it's not too problematic. And if they'd lowered any much, because then you guys start thinking about like abilities more than just how can a gun start killing you, but like, you want to be able to get out of an aftermath if Fist of Havoc you too soon or something like that. Or it's like, is a grenade going to kill you as soon as you spawn up? Because there's so much stuff that does damage beyond the time to kill of a primary. So they're in a very fragile position right now. Pun intended.
Well put.
I like that.
Well, thanks for bringing that up, cool guy. That's a
Yeah.
good
it's worth
discussion
talking
there.
about.
There's a bunch more to talk about, but I think a lot of this is going to surface in Q&A, old questions
Shall
and
we?
answers. So we could move to that
Yeah,
now.
Do a little
yeah.
Q&A.
Good
I
idea.
got them up right here, and I will read on Twitter. But if you have a juicy question for us and you're in the Twitch chat right now, feel free to lay it out, and we will hopefully pick it up.
Yep.
So, first question from Handsome Dragon. Do you think sidearms need to be changed? Yes or no? Are they too strong?
I don't think they're too strong. I think
They're not too
they
strong.
negate the special ammo changes, and I think this is the hot topic. There's some effort been made to alter special ammo economy, and that's been very successful. However, sidearms break that because of this inherent, they spawn with ammo. Like I think that's been clung to a little, and I just don't see any good reason to keep that. I think if they follow suit with all the other specials, then we've really got the interesting ammo economy that folks were looking forward to.
I'd be okay with them as they are if they behaved the same way they did before and they only had their little bit of reserve ammo in sixes.
Yeah.
Good call.
Exactly.
But I think in trials, the issue is just that like now it's kind of like the only special that you can use to play Like you don't get special very often now in Trials at all. It doesn't bother me when I'm playing like Control because I see special ammo crates enough that I can still use a shotgun if I want to, and I can be as effective as a sidearm basically. But in Trials, it's like a sidearm and NLB or an Icebreaker or something like that, or nothing like when it comes to special other than the first round.
Because in regular PvP, it's all about map control, and you have the entire duration of the game to work with your teammates to gain that control, and the ammo crates are going to pop up. In Trials, it resets every round, and you don't want to camp at the back of your spawn like a weirdo. You want to run out and get map
especially
control.
with the short round, because if you camp
It's a short round. You want to go out and you want to get map control, and because you spawn with no special ammo, it's not that sidearms are like mega strong. It's just that there's nothing else you can use. It's like I either have a sidearm, my Wormwood with ammo, or my Matador that I'm never going to fire a shot out of.
Zero ammo.
Because by the time the ammo crate pops up, the round's going to be over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my only. I feel like I like the special economy and sidearms pretty much as is. It just needs to be tweaked a little bit for Trials, maybe, just to make it so that there's something else that people can do who just want to play a different way. Maybe like you can say other metas were dominated by the Matador, but if you wanted to use something else, you could. Now it's really hard to even use.
At least it was there.
Yeah,
there you go.
If you wanted to go against the grain, you could. Now you have you just can't even use the other thing that you want to use most of the time.
There you
that's
go.
My only.
A buddy of
The
mine
question is,
made
if you're seeing too much Wormwood, use Trespasser.
Trespasser.
But sidearms, they're not overpowered right now. You know, a lot of people complaining about them. It's not that they're overpowered. They're just overrepresented in the Crucible right now because everybody's using them because they have ammo. Your shotgun doesn't.
Yeah, that's it.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of special ammo out there too. I like the 60-second. Another thing is you find yourself reloading a lot. So like I brought up the Yasmin, right? Cocoon, right? What if Cocoon was on some weapons, right?
So
wow.
Second wind on my boots is now a mandatory perk because I am so done with like the Matador, like 1 shell, 2 shell. Like I need second wind because like you spawn up. I'm like, where is the goddamn ammo? And I run over while the timer's going down. I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go.
We need that like transition elevator music, like okay, back.
It's just like that. But yeah.
A buddy of mine made a really good suggestion about Trials special ammo economy, and I've actually seen the same suggestion surface a lot on Twitter. And that is, instead of having special ammo crates spawn, you have a finite amount of ammo that you spawn in with for each round. So obviously this isn't going to be in a huge amount of abundance, but whatever special that you have equipped for the beginning of that round, you start off with a finite amount of ammo. So you use it wisely, and you don't have an infinite supply of it, the specials crates don't spawn. I thought that was,
great.
For Trials, as a trial-specific kind of mechanic, that could work quite well. And a chill filled the room.
Yeah. Good question.
I've never thought of that. That's
good question from Handsome Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question that I thought was going to be a bad question, but the second half I think saves it. It's a question from Subcult619, and he says, "What infuriates you in the current meta, and how are you countering it?" Now, if that question had only been "What pisses you off in the current meta," I would have skipped over it.
Yeah.
Because that's a scrub question. We don't complain. We adapt around here. But he threw in that "how do you counter it?" That I like. That opens up a good discussion. Anyone want to handle that? Take it away here.
This is difficult because there's not much that's infuriating me about the balance at the moment. The only thing that I get really emotionally affected by is matchmaking, because that's a different discussion, maybe for a different time. But
how do you counter it, Story? How do you counter it?
By not
counter the matchmaking.
By walking away from the PlayStation and going to do something else like embroidery, knitting, and walking on the beach.
Wonderful.
The only thing that infuriates me ever is when it infuriates me, but not in the sense that I think it's broken and I need to counter it. Is just when I get killed by a universal remote, because I'm just like, just give up, just stop, just stop playing this way,
Stop trying to
let
make it a
go. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes me angry about it. And I counter it by not getting close to them and just trespassing them. In the
Hey,
face
do you want to do Rumble later?
Yeah.
Shifty
Promise
eyes.
no.
I
Things
won't
I've
use
seen.
any interesting
no.
The two things I've seen are sidearms and sticky grenades. Those are the only two that I really see a lot of people talking about
you go.
as far as annoying, right?
Yeah.
They've always been a part of the game, both of them. I mean, when I see a Sunsinger sticking me, and when I see him, I'm not even gonna we're not even going towards that guy anymore. We're gonna keep it at a distance.
Just stay away.
Yeah.
I like you, cool guy. Bringing the rational,
Well, you know,
mentality. to
Calm
the-
man.
yeah.
Calm.
There you go. If
here.
you get really pissed off by getting hit by a fusion grenade, change up your tactics
Throw it
a
on.
little bit. You know
Throw
what
it
I mean?
on.
You got it.
No
Fire
mercy.
with fire. Or it's really easy to identify enemy players. This isn't like Halo where it's like, is that the red Spartan that I don't like, or is it the other red Spartan that I don't like?
It's the other red spot.
You see the warlock and he's got the shader on and the helmet that you recognize. You're like, oh, that's the son of a bitch who's been fusioning. So play a little more cautious if you see him. You know what I mean? Stick to cover. Try to give him a little pop shot action with your pally or whatever gun you use if you're not meta horror like me.
Yeah.
And just play it safe. Try to bait out the sticky, and then when he throws and whiffs, then it's your time to shine, baby. Get in
Or
there.
when it magnetizes to you around the corner and just grabs
Whips
you
around your head.
Then you uninstall the game, and
Yeah, and then you just quit and you tweet at Bungie every single day about how much you hate them and their poopy faces.
Oh, it's their fault.
the exact step-by-step process.
Yes.
Here's a question I've seen asked by a
there
lot
you
of
go.
people. It's like difficult to pinpoint who's asking it, but should No Land Beyond be nerfed? And I think my feeling on that at the moment is it doesn't need a nerf. It just needs its would you call it a glitch or the fact that it's broken? I don't know, but like the fact that it has
The gun can jam every now and then.
well,
Is that
there's
what you're saying?
there's no
Oh,
like,
that-
no,
it has a
he
reload
means that it doesn't
glitch.
actually.
Oh, the reload glitch? Oh, I love the
and
reload
most important
glitch.
one, it has
a niche
visual
thing.
flinch, but no mechanical flinch. I think those two things
That's
are
true.
breaking what it was intended as. And I think that is when people want like a nerf, inverted commas, they just want that bringing in line with the rest of the snipers. Like No Land breaks the sniper flinch issue because it has a visual flinch but not a mechanical flinch, and that is perceived as a glitch or it being broken. And then the fact that you can do this sprint reload thing as well, so you can shoot it a hell of a lot faster than it was originally designed to do. So I think those are the two things that cause people to scream nerf,
Yeah, but like everyone, reload cancels every other gun.
Yeah.
Mm.
Leave that alone on the No Land. That's not a glitch. It's a feature.
I love it.
feature.
It reminds
It's
me
how
of
you're supposed to.
Yeah,
evolving
everybody
gameplay.
does
It's-
that. I do that all the time. I'm super good. And
I mean, that's like
I reload
that's
cancel.
metagame.
Yeah, I know.
It's
It
like-
is. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just joking.
I think we should. I
suck.
think we need to monitor the numbers a little bit more. You know what I mean? If we stay the course, if we notice that No Land Beyond in the usage department is getting really out of control, I'm like, yeah, maybe it's time to take a look. I don't know. I think the gun is super fun. Maybe I'm talking out of my butt here, but I
have a
really
lot of fun with that gun. I started
love
using it
No Land
heavily
Beyond. Yeah,
halfway through Rise of Iron. So it's just been it's been on my Guardian for a long time now. And yeah, it's definitely convenient. I think it was a little comfy. I'm trying to think of what the word is. It was a
home.
comfort. It was a fallback for me in this new special ammo trials meta, because I went in and I played probably 25 games this weekend or so, just messing around, choosing different loadouts just to see what felt like anything, like what was working. I had Thorn and a shotgun on for about 7 games, and I did not fire the shotgun once. And I was just like, well, what the fuck is the point of using this then? And so I switched, and I was like, all right, at least I can give us some sort of advantage, and I like using No Land Beyond. So it just felt comfortable to me, but I don't know if it's 100%.
I think
here's
I
the
think
only
it
worry
falls
I-
into the
go
same
ahead.
issue as the sidearm one we were just talking about, where there's just not a lot of other special options. Like, it's not that
Yeah.
NLB
Yeah.
is broken; it's that the special economy maybe just needs to be tweaked in trials.
Well, we have to keep an eye on it, because my one worry is that it may get out of hand, because again, how the special economy works. Before February, if someone on the other team was giving you a problem with the No Land Beyond, I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna surf up and matador you from downtown, nothing personal, kid.
Little high five.
But now in this meta, I mean, there's a lot less special ammo running around, especially in trials. And if you can roll with No Land Beyond, you got the Wormwood in your back pocket, you're pretty confident that no one is going to roll up on you and shotgun you in the grill. So your enemy only has, like medium range, depending on what they're using. Maybe they have a sniper, but again, they're going to lose ammo with it at the beginning of every round while you're sitting pretty with a long range, awesome gun, No Land Beyond, and you got the coverage for up close every round guaranteed with your Wormwood. So, I mean,
Iron Wraith.
Or Iron Wraith, which is the superior sidearm.
Yes. What about Havoc Pigeon? I like the Havoc Pigeon.
I'm more of a Binding Blaze type of guy.
Oh,
Okay.
Is that the Iron Banner one?
So
an aristocrat.
The Iron Banner one, yeah.
So I think it's a fine line. I mean, the players that are truly good with that No Land Beyond, dude, they worked at it, and I respect that, right?
Yeah.
But would you guys say that the majority of No Land Beyond users are Night Stalkers? What do you think about that?
Personally, I find that, I think No Land
I
Beyond.
think
I
wonder if majority of snipers are Night Stalkers.
Yeah.
Well,
It goes together like
they got
peanut
the
butter and jelly.
They got the shade,
yeah,
right?
because you can be so carefree. It's like, oh, I can challenge a lane because I can roll the dice, and if I get a kill, great, screw him. But if I get a miss, who cares? Because I can just shade step right around the corner
away.
and then reset the clock. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fine line. It's tough,
It definitely is, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, I was using it a little bit with. I like sniping on my Warlock because I still use Ophidian Aspect. 100% of the time, I haven't put on a different Warlock exotic since I got the Ophidian, and I do think it's pretty nice to have fast reload and not literally quick draw anymore, but the switch to my sidearm being real fast. So I think it works good on Warlocks, but I can't remember the last time I did it on like a Titan. I can't remember the last time I sniped on a Titan.
I guess I
That's
just
me.
because it's the most common sniper that kills me right now doesn't make me feel like I'm getting sniped every 2 seconds, really, either. Like when I get sniped, it's
Right.
Icebreaker or NLB, but I'm not getting sniped in an amount where I'm like, this is broken beyond belief. Everybody's using this nonstop.
Cool
It's
guy.
all
Most of
that
the
kills
time-
me.
Most of the time, if you catch them, if they're like in rotation, if you catch them and they miss, they're done anyway.
Yeah.
So that's another thing you have to consider too.
If you're
You
in
just made
Crucible,
such a good point about who uses it though, is that people
Yeah.
learn it, and that's literally like one of the dumbest things is like, oh that's because it's a no skill. Well,
Not really.
please feel free, like go put up 30 kills with No
go
Land
be
Beyond and
the
show
next,
me,
go
because
be the
like,
next KJ Hovey.
yeah, like
I got like one headshot with it in a match the other day, Bones. So I'm saying it.
and it was while your controller was sitting on the desk because it takes no
Yeah.
skill.
Amazing.
Exactly.
You're
Right
reaching
on
over to get a
microwave,
scoop
no
of hummus,
hands.
and you're like, oh sweet, I got one.
Oh my lordy. Okay, here's a very important question from Kick Aha. Blue cheese or ranch? I will shut this entire podcast down right now.
How would you even do that? Story's the one
Well,
who
you're not
does
even
it.
supposed to be here. We were trying to kick you
You're
off
not even
within the
supposed
first
to
minute.
be here.
I'm
We
gonna
replaced you with a cooler gun
I'm
guy.
gonna break it all in half by saying both. I have both of those things,
Oh my god.
and I'd have
I'm
both
with
of
him,
them at
both.
the
You
know what?
same.
I'm gonna go.
time.
I'm gonna break it the other way. Neither. I don't like either of them.
What?
Go fuck yourselves.
Oh my god, this is not what I was expecting. We got one
Paradox.
from both and one from neither?
I like both, but for different scenarios.
Yeah, blue cheese for wings, ranch for salad,
There you go.
There you go.
Dude, cool guy.
or vice versa. Depending.
This guy is like as cool as a
What are you
cucumber, man.
into?
He's just like he's got an
He's
answer
just
to
a
every
cucumber.
question.
He's a cool guy.
He's the cool guy, man. He's the cool guy. You just turned my world upside down. I was gonna go blue cheese, lights out, but now I'm like, are there things that I would rather put ranch on?
Yeah, Red Robin French fries.
Red Robin's French fries.
Ooh, all right.
That sounds
make me
good.
sick.
We
Damn.
don't get that here.
Eat your salads with a nice
Rip.
light oil-based dressing, you monsters. All right.
You barbarians.
A little bit of that balsamic vinaigrette.
Look, I'm from the Midwest, all right? Ranch
Hey,
dressing is like in
I'm
my
sitting
bloodstream.
That's
in
true, it's part
Indiana
of his
right
culture.
now. My ass is firmly planted in the Midwest.
We're not a cultured people.
Mega's just like, I need to be different from everyone around me, but at least in some way. And that's going to be my preference of dressing.
I matter. I'm an individual.
There are dozens
Bring
of
me
us.
the oils.
There are dozens of us.
Fallout, can you not ask one that's going to send us into a frenzy? What else do we got? Do we have anything?
No matter what we ask, we're going to backtrack and sidetrack and
That's true.
all kinds of different
I'm surprised
trends.
Pokemon hasn't been brought up at some point.
I know.
man.
We're trying,
Well, now
we're
it
trying
has
to
been.
avoid all Pokemon questions.
Vincent.
Cool guy, what's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh, geez. Like, you're going to put me on tilt.
This is the one thing
Straight
he's
up
not
until-
cool
Yeah,
with.
he's
This
not
is the only
prepared to
thing he's-
answer.
All right, I'm going to say Blastoise just because I was just on a flight and I'm not sure anybody's evolved a Blastoise up in the air. I think I might be the only one. So I'm going to go with Blastoise.
Wow,
We may
that's
never know.
like better than
Good
the
choice.
Mile High Club, the first person to.
Right? Blastoise Mile High Club. You don't
Got
even
a
know.
Blastoise midair.
I love it.
Okay. Do we have another question to?
I'm looking.
Here's one for Bones. What other sidearms are worth using?
Sidearms worth using. Trespasser, Iron Wreath, Wormwood,
Havoc Pigeon.
Binding Blaze,
Teacup
and
Tempest.
Teacup Tempest. I actually like some of the higher impact ones. I know they're not 100% ideal, but there's nothing ideal about sidearm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options. It's one of those. I mean, you use what roll is on it. I think a sidearm with quick draw is real handy because they can be pretty snappy. And a sidearm with high cal and hidden hand is really all you got to find. And they always come with like sure shot or true sight or whatever. They always have the good scopes. And then yeah, I mean, I use what I use is the Iron Wreath, but specifically the roll that came with the vendors and the first Iron Banner of
There you go.
year 2, and everyone got that Nerwin's Mercy and the Iron Wreath. Those were the first 2 guns, and I've never needed another sidearm, even if I mix it up.
Well put, my friend.
Oh,
Thank you.
And he mics drop, and then he's out.
I'm just looking at questions and stuff, but I think we've answered a whole lot of
Yeah,
them on
we've
Twitter.
answered a whole bunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got so much more to talk about as this sort of settles in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's only been like freaking 5
I know,
days.
it's just been
Like,
days.
This
Yeah.
is, and
So
there's
it's
more
not the end
changes.
of
I mean,
this.
Cosmo released a post on
Yeah.
Bungie.net saying that there is going to be some changes, and like we suspected that these changes might be a little sooner than the usual, like every 4, 5, 6 months. So, there's things that are going to be tweaked. So again, there's going to be even more changes to talk about there, and I think it's going to be a dominant factor on the podcast for at least the next few weekends until the dust completely settles.
Oh, yeah. Until we're back to being bored and wanting change and yelling at Bungie.
Talking more about Pokemon.
Wonderful.
Gen 2 just came out on Pokemon Go.
Oh, my God.
Son.
I got a Murkrow last night. I was stoked.
Oh, what do you mean?
I'm going to have to start involving myself in Pokemon, man. Otherwise, I'm going to find my position on this podcast
Yeah.
get swiped
Get
away.
hip.
Yeah.
I
It's
haven't
time.
touched it ever. I know nothing about Pokemon.
Damn it. Cool Guy's looking to replace you. He's also got a hat on. I mean, he's smooth talking.
That's true.
That's pretty much everything.
Oh, man.
You just need a hat.
He's got
I've
the
had a
green
really good time,
background.
guys.
It's like exactly
I
the
really
same.
have.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're
Yo,
actually
cool.
blowing
Yeah,
my
really
mind
good
right now,
Yo,
Meg.
low key, the new story.
No, it's
Younger, handsomer.
It's American story.
Story does
American
a job
story.
setting all this up.
American
He actually
story.
set up my Skype, man. I've never done this before. Like I was telling him, first time caller, long time listener. So I really appreciate you guys for having me.
Right on, man.
You know?
Well, hey, you make a lot of YouTube content for Planet Testing on your own channel. What are you working on now? Or do you want to drop like a little preview of maybe your next video coming out?
A couple things I'm working on is spawn rotations, learning just
Very nice.
how it works and how to pretty consistently see those spawns and where you should be rotating and why and how. And a lot of that leads to good KD games, good games, just knowing that and getting the leg up on spawns. One thing, and I think I'm going to review the Hawk Moon next, or review a couple weapons, just kind of see where they are. That's really all that's lined up.
Right on.
Nice.
Some good stuff.
And if you want
You
to
also
see an
had a,
interview, we did an interview with CoolGuy a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
That's up on Planet
great.
Destiny. We're talking about meta and stuff like that and the stuff that he does. So if you want to go and have a look at that, that's a new series we've got there, and it's been pretty well received. So go and check that out.
When does your beach swimwear calendar come out, CoolGuy?
Oh, gotta get with my agent, man. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't even know. Like, so
Advanced information.
Keep me posted on that. On my Amazon wish list. It is the only item on that list.
Oh boy. Okay, guys, this was fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think
I'm exhausted.
I think-
talking
yeah.
Is that your
about
way
this.
of saying end it, Bones?
Bones
This
is
was
exhausted
fun.
of all
This
of
was
us.
fun,
We're
and
done.
in that spirit, I would like to end this fun immediately.
No, actually,
Right
like,
now.
Time to go.
Done.
I've been podcasting all weekend and obviously talking about this patch for the entire time of those things. And last night we recorded Crucible Radio, and I have some thoughts. Like I have some stronger critiques of this patch that didn't come up today, but there was so much other interesting topics brought up, like revive shields and the changes like no land and stuff like that. And so the fact that there's so much to talk about is really just overwhelming, but in a great way, because I'd rather be overwhelmed and have more to say next week than be like, what's next?
the hell are we
they
talking
gonna
about
say
this week?
something in the twab, or like what's
Something
gonna happen?
I think
So,
Bungie hinted
it's
at
good.
some sort of Irish thing with the word green, maybe, and this week at Bungie. Like,
Maybe.
Yeah.
okay for Blazing
Well,
Hot
I'm
Dog.
ready for that new
Rusty
event.
Pew Pew. Okay, he's asked about 10 million times. I thought I can't leave him dry.
I was waiting for it too. I was like, is he
I
gonna
was
eat?
waiting for that.
Pew
Yeah.
Pew.
Thank
Let's
you.
have someone else say it as well. Let's get some kind of.
I don't want to say that phrase.
say it,
I know
say
saying
it,
it.
whore, say
Got
it.
to
Do
now.
It makes people happy.
happening right now.
Rusty pew pew.
Thank you.
I'll say it too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for Planet Destiny Podcast episode 109. Thank you, extra special much, is that a phrase, for our guest, CoolGuy,
It
for
is
hopping
now.
on and joining us and talking about these awesome patch notes or whatever it was we talked about for the last hour and a half. If you want to check out CoolGuy, again, same thing with everybody here on the Planet Destiny Podcast, go to the Planet Destiny YouTube, and I'm sure he's right there on the sidebar. So please,
He is.
go check him out. Give him a subscribe, a follow, a like, a late night text
Thunderstrike that
message.
smash button.
Thunderstrike that like button.
Get in there.
Yeah.
I don't know why you guys aren't saying like panic smash or something like that. That is actually a term.
Fist of panic, am I
Panics.
right?
Yeah.
Fist of panic. Yeah.
Aggressive triple down. Oh my god, what a fist of panic, am I right?
Panic Nova. That sub button. And we will see you guys next week, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Good night.